that being said, you never knew or could foresee what he was doing in his bedroom. And when people are silenced, there's no way for you to know. And that's why it's so important you understand. There were about 13 people who knew or should have known, as listed by the civil case. However, even that's going to be a drop in the bucket, because how can you really know what's going on in somebody's bedroom or in his Bahamas compound, which most of this abuse happened in the Bahamas, just so you know. This was just Toronto's version that qualified. So we are dealing with a systematic monster who used his business talents for evil, to prey on others, and it's a very good thing that justice was served here, and I hope everyone who's affected by this has a sigh of relief, and also those who are affected by sex crimes to understand that, please, it is okay to come forward. I know it's such a difficult thing. One thing that struck me when I was at this was the women have to go up there. They have to talk about this horrible experience. They have to get cross-examined. And meanwhile, he got to go up there, speak about his life and his accomplishments, yet we weren't told that there were all these other people who had come forward. We weren't told former employees that had nothing to do with this had come forward. These women were called gold diggers, by a lawyer who is lining his pockets to, as Shannon also had mentioned to me, but it's reality. They were called gold diggers by a lawyer who's lining his pockets to get this predator back on the streets. Who was the gold digger there? I don't think it was the women. The civil suit played a vital role, and you have a right to participate in the civil suit. I believe it was 4 out of 5 were in the civil suit. If that civil suit didn't come, this case wouldn't be here today, because it gave folks an opportunity to contact a lawyer and to understand that they weren't alone, and to not feel that fear of being sued, which is a very real thing, especially when these predators target people they know don't have the financial means, or they know they have a troubled background. They're very systematic in their abuse. So
you spoke, one of the other reporters asked you, what was it like? Did you ever really see this? But you told me earlier that 4 years ago, that's when things, you died.
Yeah.
When you witnessed something that was inappropriate.
Yeah.
Can you speak about how you've been, like you said, blowing the whistle on your father, really 4 years?
Yeah, this started 4 years ago. That's where Kai Nygard kind of died for me. 4 years ago, I went to a dinner party. I saw him when no one was looking and I was watching, touch a girl, basically assault a young child. And I immediately called Tina Tulikorpi, who is one of the accused enablers in this. She was one of the executives in Toronto. And it went nowhere. I just basically was called by him, and then I was attacked and told that I was mentally unwell and all these things. And I got a taste of what it's like to blow the whistle against a monster or a powerful predator. You're discredited. That's the number one thing they try to do, is to discredit you. And then once that civil suit came out, all of a sudden these floodgates of information opened up, and I started to receive more information. I received information from one of his friends, which led me to believe that he was actively doing this even after the civil suit had occurred. That's information that people don't understand. And so that's what led me to contact the civil attorneys, to see if I could get in touch with the authorities, and do every single thing that I could, no matter what happened to me and whatever standing I had within the company what I'd worked for, because I couldn't bear the thought of another person being harmed without having their day in court. From that, the civil suit ballooned up to 57 women and children. More and more folks came forward. A couple months later, April Tellick and Casey Allen came forward because the claim was it was only Bahamians, and these were strong Canadian women. And then I had some siblings come forward. I had 2 brothers come forward, and they very bravely decided to pursue a civil suit, in part because they knew that every time the press would come out, people would feel that they weren't alone, and more people came forward to the authorities. And it was very difficult to find people who actually qualified because of the systematic abuse that he was doing in these jurisdictions very consciously, so that he couldn't be prosecuted. From there, I blew the whistle in September of 2020, calling him out as a flight risk. That was my reveal within the company, and to him that I was not on his side. That's when I was shut off from every point of contact. But it was a very real threat that he would flee the country, and there was no way to stop him, even though the police had filed police reports that were sitting on the prosecutor's desk. There was months of lag time, which would have allowed him to just flee the country and go somewhere out of jurisdiction. We wouldn't be here at all right now. Then I participated in a podcast and documentaries before he was arrested, Evil by Design and Unseemly, blowing the whistle some more, and then he was arrested. And then what we've done now, working with an organization called Child USA, we've developed legislation that will close that jurisdiction loophole for the USA, and we want to bring that to Canada as well, so that we can offer more protections for Canadians overseas who are abused. If they bring back credible evidence, they should be able to use it here instead of have it just be put on these other countries who might have unstable governments. You can always, to answer the question about being disinherited and those types of things, my thought on it was that you can always make more money. You cannot restore lost innocence. And I'd like to leave this world with a clear conscience. There are people in the world that do want to fight for justice at any cost. There are people who are okay with being paid money and that they will look the other way. The key is who are you working with, who are you teaming up with, and that's why I'd encourage survivors to contact police. They do want justice. They will be working within the rules. See if you qualify, if you have something that's there. And then also this whole concept of healing post this trauma, PTSD, and those types of things, that's a whole other conversation. That's why thanks Shannon and people like that who are working to fix the damage and the healing process after. And that's what I'm really interested in now. How can we heal this? How can we heal the survivors? How can we help with the PTSD? And how can we change some of these laws so that predators can't get away with this kind of stuff in the future? With that, I thank you all for your time very much. Yeah, I'm KAI is my name. And then Bickle is my new name. I took that, I renounced that Nygard name because I don't want to pass it on to future generations. But I am okay if you want to call me Kai Nygard because it's easy for people to understand that. But I'm also Kai Bickle Nygard. And with that, thank you very much.